wishes to study the Chinese medicine.
Design the perfect voice for your brand with...
When you think of the term traditional Chinese medicine, what probably comes to mind is acupuncture for stress relief. Or maybe you have a friend going to a local acupuncturist for in vitro or something like that, or for physical pain. But bigger than acupuncture is a system called traditional Chinese medicine that's been practiced for thousands of years and is an incredibly rich, both philosophical and clinical natural science. Now in this video, I want to share the first in this series behind what is traditional Chinese medicine. Hey, I'm Dr. Alex Hein, author of the health book, Master the Day. I'm also a licensed acupuncturist and I have a doctorate in Chinese medicine. Now I've also included two very important links beneath this video. The first down below there is for a free guide, 4 daily rituals that can help you add years to your life with traditional Chinese medicine. And the second is a link if you'd like to become a patient of mine either locally or via telemedicine. You can find that down there below as well. Now, Chinese medicine is a natural science dating back thousands and thousands of years. Ancient Chinese physicians, philosophers, and often even mystics or sages were interested in describing all of the cosmos through these universal principles. So almost like how Einstein spent his life looking for those one unified field, or how Nikola Tesla was trying to understand these various laws of the universe. These ancient naturalists and physicians were trying to do the exact same. For example, all ancient people, not only in China but outside of China, made close observations between the relationship between astronomy, cosmology, and the seasons. And it was obvious that certain stars were present at certain times of the year, or even that certain seasons had certain illnesses that were more common during that season. A lot of these connections meant life or death for these agrarian societies, harvesting crops, when to plant, the kind of animals that would be available, as well as for hunter-gatherers. Now in the I Ching, the Book of Change or the Book of Changes, Dr. Heinrich Fruehauf says, when describing the characters, that the character Yi, change, was originally a pictogram of the sun and the moon, while the character Jing means both universal path and classic, depicting the warp and the woof of their movements. So the ancient Chinese observed and believed that these macrocosmic forces influenced, or maybe even created, the way our daily lives played out. And so it was important, it was essential to understand these macro, or maybe these invisible laws of the universe. So tools like the I Ching, the Book of Change, or Book of Changes, were used to establish what are the many different possibilities that could end up happening so that it can live a harmonious life. And he continues with a quote from Stephen Hawking. He said that he once described the science of quantum mechanics in that it never predicts a single definite result for an observation. Instead, it predicts a number of different possible outcomes and tells us how likely each of these it is. So the second very important concept here is that when it comes to medicine and the human life in between, in order to stay healthy and live a long life, we need to live in harmony with these natural laws and these natural principles. For example, in chapter 25 of the Tao Te Ching, it says that human beings follow the laws of the earth follows the laws of heaven. Heaven follows the laws of the Tao, and the Tao just is. So from these philosophies came the idea of aligning oneself with these guiding laws of the universe. And this became one of the other foundational concepts, which is yin-yang theory, which is balancing ourselves or counterbalancing ourselves with not only the laws of the cosmos and cosmology and the seasons, but also the microcosm, which is within the human body, and balancing all these various factors and imbalances that can come up. And in one of our most important medical texts, an ancient text called the Huangdi Neijing, for example, look at some of the first chapters and the topics that they cover. Neijing chapter 1 describes a mythical dialogue where the Yellow Emperor asks a physician Qibo, why did the people in ancient times used to live to be 100 but be stronger, and yet now by 50 they're already old and worn out? And he goes on to describe yin-yang theory, lifestyle practices, and methods of longevity. Now, in the second chapter of the Huangdi Neijing, in this chapter, it describes how to regulate oneself and one's affairs, how to live, and how to adjust our lifestyle based on the 4 seasons. So these periods of changing yin and yang indicate natural periods where we should align our own lives with what nature is already doing for proper health. The third chapter of the Neijing talks about the origin of what's called Yangsheng, or nourishing life or preventative medicine. And this is all about the concepts of balancing yin and yang, and not in an abstract sense, but in a pragmatic, practical sense, like balancing work and rest, or if you have certain disease patterns or organs that are weak, what flavors to eat to counterbalance that pathological process. And then it goes on to describe pathological factors in our environment that make us sick. And finally, the fourth chapter of the Neijing. This chapter goes on to describe the relationship between climate and seasons, and the correlation between various illnesses people are susceptible to during those seasons. It describes how these affect the yin and the yang of the body, and how certain illnesses are more likely to show up. And then it even shows the relationship between our 5 essential organs, you could think of them as the solid organs, and their relationships to the resonance of that season. Now, one final thing worth mentioning here is that another distinct feature of Chinese medicine is what most people mentally associate with acupuncture, which is the meridian or channel system, acupuncture, and the use of the concepts called the 5 phases. Now, the channels are related to a concept called organ manifestation theory, which, as some people have translated, these mean that the inner state of physiology and the organs reflect themselves on the channels or in external signs and symptoms in the body. For example, a patient with gallbladder disease may have referral pain up into the shoulder or up almost into the neck area. Now, ancient people observed this link between gallbladder disease and some weird pain up here. I would say most practitioners today would say that that is referral pain from the phrenic nerve that goes up to this area. Now, ancient people may not have been aware of that nerve, but they knew that for some reason the gallbladder channel goes to this area. Now, you can treat a gallbladder issue on the gallbladder channel, or you can treat it through channels that seem seemingly unrelated. And that's also based on these relationships between certain organs in Chinese medicine. 5-phase theory is also another theory closely tied to ancient Chinese medicine, where each organ in the body is associated with a certain phase, certain season of the year, and even certain pathologies. So, for example, placing the lung within metal, and also the season of fall. This seems abstract until you realize the correlation between people with asthma having more issues going into the fall, as well as for many people in the temperate climates, that fall equinox is the transition between the summer and the colder seasons, the drier times, and that's frequently one of the first times where the first round of cold goes around. So some of these were just clinical observations based on observing patterns in nature, and they ended up becoming a systematic method of how everything relates. So again, the organs and how they relate, and nature and how the seasons relate. Now, that is a very brief, or maybe long-winded introduction to what traditional Chinese medicine really is, some distinguishing, unique features, and a little bit of the history and the philosophy of where it comes from. Now, in the next video in this series, we are going to continue through this What is Traditional Chinese Medicine roadmap. Now, again, if you'd like to stay in touch, check out the first link below this video for the free guide 4 daily rituals that can add years to your life. And if you'd like to become a patient of mine locally or online via telemedicine, you can check it out below this video as well. Before you go, check out 2 related videos on this topic right here.
LINE 可以隐藏聊天 天室，这已经不是什么新功能了。
Here are the 3 best acupressure points for anxiety. You know, people will often come in and will say, oh, I'm feeling so anxious, and so I've tried journaling or working with a therapist or counselor, and it often leads to this great discussion where I share a very different opinion that I have about how to approach clinical anxiety. In my opinion, the best results from treating anxiety come through treating the body, not through treating the mind. Because anxiety for so many of us is a somatic sensation, and it is not a mental health issue as conventional medicine will have you to believe. While there are some people with, yes, just anxious minds that are worriers, the true chronic clinical anxiety is a physical somatic experience. So in this video, let's talk about 3 somatic practices you can do right now, they're free, you can do at home, that will help with anxiety. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Hein, board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and author of the health book, Master the Day. So, let's jump in. Personal opinion here based on lots of clinical experience and lots of lived experience with severe anxiety. It is much more effectively treated through the body than it is through the mind. You know, I think we've been given some mistaken messaging from conventional medicine that because clinical anxiety is a kind of mental health issue, that therefore you have to treat the mind in order to fix the body. I don't agree at all. Because while yes, there are some people who are anxious just because they're worriers, but they don't have a fast heart rate or butterflies in the belly, or they haven't lost 15 pounds due to feeling anxious. Yes, sure, journaling and taking a vacation and talking to a therapist may help. But for the people with clinical anxiety that are on medication or considering it, treating it through the body, regulating the physiology, yes, the chemicals, is more effective than anything you do mentally. So yes, there's a spectrum of anxiety. I'm just worried about this test coming up. I'm worried about my boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, child, whatever it is, my dog. And I'm worried over here about these massive heart palpitations I'm having, my heart rate going crazy in the middle of the night. It ranges from deeply physiological to deeply mental. And I think if you marry the two, it is the best bang for your buck. But also what I found is treating it through the body just seems to work a lot better. But what do you actually do? You could exercise, you could go to yoga, you could go for a long walk, you could hang out with friends. I found that I think acupressure and somatic tools, acupuncture too, are some of the most effective that I've seen. And so because I can't recommend you doing acupuncture on yourself, acupressure is a close second that can help whether you have chronically high anxiety levels, or it can often help whether you have an acute anxiety attack right now. Some of these points you can use right now to sleep better tonight, right now, to come off of that metaphorical ledge, and right now just feel it come down a couple different notches. Now the first point is called Shanzhong. Now Shanzhong literally just means the center of the chest in Chinese. And this is the Ren channel. Ren channel just goes down the midline of the body. And basically it's equidistant right in the center between your nipples, right in the center of your chest. And so what you want to do is just put your hands hand over hand like this. And you're going to just do this circular rubbing sensation. You're going to rub for maybe 5 minutes if it's really intense anxiety to the left, counterclockwise. And then you're going to go counterclockwise 5 minutes to the right. And this somatic sensation is very soothing specifically to the heart, right? A lot of people with heightened anxiety levels are scared of the sensations they feel in their chest. The palpitations, the high heart rate, those are the things that make them very, very nervous. And so doing this over the chest, over the heart itself is very soothing. And it's also something that you can do when you're having a hard time sleeping because of the anxiety itself as well. Sleeping because of the anxiety itself as well. Now the second point is a point on the kidney channel called Yongquan. Now Yongquan, sometimes translated as bubbling spring or gushing spring. Now this is the first point on the kidney channel, and it's right in the bottom of the foot. If you slide your finger up towards the balls of the feet, you'll feel a little divot. just behind the balls of the foot. And that point is kidney 1. The kidney channel in Chinese medicine is almost like the grounding rod. It's like the grounding station of the body. We say the kidneys are associated with the winter phase. It's sort of the organ that helps downshift the nervous system. It is one of the organs we treat in acupuncture theory to help calm, like for example, anxiety symptoms, insomnia symptoms, palpitations, and that kind of thing. For this point, you're going to slide your thumb into the ball there, and you're just going to either do a circular motion, circling around in the ball of the foot, do that for 5 or 10 minutes each side, or you can do it even longer while you're watching a show at night if you're feeling too revved up. And then you can also push and release. Push and release. And there's a second final point here that's basically in the center of your heel. So in Japanese traditions of acupuncture, they will often do moxibustion, burning of this mugwort on the heel until the patient feels heat in the heel. And this is viewed as a heightened form of this grounding effect that the treatment of the kidney channel has. So you can do a number of things at night. You can either tap on the heel, you can literally pat it, or you can just push and release with your thumb. Push and release, push and release, push and release. In China, a folk tradition is to do a hot foot soak. So to do a hot foot bath, because they believe that it brings sort of the chi down, it brings all of the energy down, it's sort of like a grounding station. So you can try soaking your feet just in hot water for maybe 20 or 30 minutes at the end of the night. And that's often, besides it being very relaxing and very soothing, is something that can help really calm the nervous system activity a little bit. Now, I'm actually doing a one-time live workshop on how to treat anxiety with traditional Chinese medicine coming up in a couple weeks here. Check out the link below this video. I'm doing a live 1-hour workshop limited to 500 people with a live Q&A afterwards. I'll stay as long as you have questions. And basically, we're going to go through the causes of anxiety, 5 daily practices from traditional Chinese medicine to help downshift your nervous system and your stress hormones, and to really do sort of like a functional adrenal reset, if you want to call it that. Check out the link right below this video. It's limited to 500 spots.
在这里呢，是我们采用的是鼻子鼻呼啊，就是鼻子吸气，鼻子吐气，然后慢慢的你把呼吸的频率降下来啊，就是你吸气的时候要变得很绵柔啊，脑袋当中放空，吸气的时候慢慢的吸进去，然后把我们的胸腔充满，好，然后保持1到2秒钟的停顿，缓缓吐出来。好，整个过程当中是非常缓慢而轻柔的，然后再来一次，来吸气，充满我们的胸腔，然后缓缓的吐气。好，这个时候你要感受一个变化是什么变化？就是我们手是放在我们的肚子上面的，你去感受一下你肚子上面的变化是不是开始起伏了？我们正常引导5个呼吸左右，你在吸气的时候，刚开始是胸腔饱满，肩膀会往上耸，但是到后面以后，逐渐的，你会发现你的肚子会跟着上下起伏，特别是吐气的时候，你看，肚子也会跟着起伏，这就是我们讲的会形成的腹式呼吸。其实腹式呼吸这个东西啊，根本就不难，咱们很多朋友把它想的太难了。腹式呼吸每个人都会，我们在深度睡着的时候都是腹式呼吸。你们去看小孩子睡眠，他们只要睡着了以后，他的肚子都会上下起伏。所以这个动作在引导的过程当中，我们只需要做一件事就行，就是缓慢的吸气，缓慢的吐气。逐渐的，当你感受到你的肚子开始上下起伏，那么这个时候你的呼吸会变得越来越缓，腹部起。
every day. We need to deal with the most the small thing. But it always let me feeling very tired, tablet. We gradually feeling we don't like to do the source thing. Sometimes we need to using the computer to process the data, and sometimes we have to receive the call. How to deal with the sound department for something. Yes, so we get the anxiety. When we do this the whole day, we feeling very tired. And we go back to home because your brain is getting tired, so you maybe feeling want to sleep. So this time you have to find the sound method to release. Release your anxiety emotion.
快7万人看过的《如何逆转重度血瘀》第4弹来了！哇，这个精彩！
想逆转重度血瘀，最重要的依旧是保证充足而规律的睡眠。可以将莲子、薏米、茯苓、生姜放养生壶里煮半小时，随时喝，口目到天亮。血瘀体质的调理原则是活血化瘀、通经活络。《本草纲目》中称3七为经补缓，有止血不流瘀、化瘀不伤正之说。每天早餐后半小时，用40度的温水冲服1勺生3七粉，星期走后连喝1周，可以帮咱的小房子清淤血清的更彻底。第3，注意啊，血瘀体质的人不适合剧烈运动，但一定要动起来。运动可以让咱们的血液循环加速，气血也会更通畅。飞跃长寿道长的张志顺道长，他的金刚功非常适合调节气血运行，改善经络淤堵。坚持1个月，咱们都会不一样。
快7万人看过的《如何逆转重度血瘀》第4弹来了！哇，这个精彩！
想逆转重度血瘀，最重要的依旧是保证充足而规律的睡眠。可以将莲子、薏米、茯苓、生姜放养生壶里煮半小时，随时喝，口目到天亮。血瘀体
决定不要将上一代的状况复制到自己的婚姻。
那时候的我，就是体验到什么叫做家庭支离破碎，因为弟弟也不在，大家都出外读书，父母也离开了，那你就当然会有憧憬，说你必须要自己组织一个家庭很完美，我必须要更努力，不能重蹈覆辙。我那时候我就很生气，我就打了一拳，是还好，是打在墙上，不是打在我弟的身上这样。我就会觉得，亲情为什么会变成这样？
正值暑假，阿伟把存下来的钱带着全家去绿岛玩，一起享受海岛的碧海蓝天。阿伟的弟弟小安在绿岛经营民宿6年。
帮我先数这里，这里用铁，先用铁球。这边东西都要亲力亲为，你这边事故也不好找。
这趟旅行，一家3口来回绿岛的交通费将近1万元，对阿伟来说是一笔不小的支出。弟弟小安大方赞助了哥哥一家住宿的费用。
这趟预算难抓，这一趟有人赞助。
早上8点，专业潜水教练小安已经带着大家穿上浮潜装备。
先放脸后脑勺上面，等下太重太紧，我去帮你们调整啊。
擅长水性的阿维跟阿璇轻装上阵，他们打算自由潜水，尽情享受绿岛纯净蔚蓝的海。
觉得被大海拥抱，舒服，然后什么也不用想，就飘在那里。
不过和大海还不熟悉的阿童看起来不太适应。
Maybe later I want to start this something or not. What should I do? To cost the energy, so when okay, maybe I know what I should from.
上跟下午。
I using my camera the record a video. Hyperspeed. If we don't use our laptop, it just rests here, but it's containing using your energy. So when we don't want to use, please shut down your computer. And remember, save your data, prevent the loss. Camera. we don't want to using our laptop. When learning start ข้อสายก็คือ I open my tablet. I talk nervous. So. Can help me to design a database. No. Okay. The next time I want to talk about when we go back to home and feeling very anxiety, lie in your bed, but we can sleep. If you very tired, please your hand is like this. If your hand is like this, make this action. Can you feeling release the some anxiety? Because how the sound turn is about the 穴道. When you touch the some 穴道, you feeling relaxed. So our target is late. let us body can relax. And don't think no more. You just think like this. Don't think anything. And close your eyes. Your energy is a little increasing. But instead, if you don't feel tired but very anxiety, you can at your house and runs at the sun place, just in this position, and maybe run the 10,000 steps, because the exercise can help us relax our body, and if you no press can let you exercise just from the sun white space or your bedroom, your restaurant, your sleep room, okay, to exercise is okay. way, if we fill in the entity, it's common because we think too more. But we do to this, so we get this. And because we think we do this, our job may be like this. We have to spend a long time in front of our computer. We like exercise. So we have a weak body. When our body, our physical, is weak, our mental will getting weak. So the two things is co-response. If we want to get our mental the more strong, we can also improve our physical. So to exercise can help me getting strong. It also can affect my mental.
弄早8点很困呢。
不用。
啊
12点前都还算可以。
12点前。
啊。
真是。这样过身体不好哎。